Welcome to Weekly Sports Talk with Ed, episode 36. And today we're going to be doing a tier list to start off. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the NBA teams. I talked about the contenders last week, and now I do a tier list with all the teams to let y'all know how I feel about everybody. And we got we got 6 tiers that we're going to get into in a second. And then, we're going to do another WNBA mock draft. I'm going to do rounds 1 and 2. These notifications. Yeah, I'm going to do round 1 and 2 for the WNBA mock draft. I'll be talking about some hockey stuff as well. Then I got some PBA stuff. I'll get into athletes of the week at the end. Then some other stuff. Yeah, we'll get into it in about, give it a minute or two. Yeah, we're going to get into this tier list in a second. Going to have some wrestling stuff, AEW Revolution predictions, because I think that's going to be fun. I do not get. Going to have to deal with a lot of ads and pop-up notifications. I'm going to give it a few more people. Give it a few more minutes for some people to come in. A few more minutes? I don't know what I just said. But yeah. About 1 more minute. I'll start with the tier list. Got some PBA stuff. There's been some bowling going on. I'm going to cover a little bit of New Japan. NFL free agency, we'll talk about that. Not everything that's happened, but I'll cover most of the moves that was made. Talk about some of the teams in the Pro Volleyball Federation and where they stand in the standings right now. None of them got that out the way. We can get into these tiers. I got title contenders. Obviously, I'm going to put the teams and the title contender who I think are competing for a championship this year. We got deep playoff run. These are teams that can go far in the playoffs, but I don't see them going to the championship. But if they did, I wouldn't be super surprised. Next year is make some noise in the playoffs. And I'll explain further once I get to those teams. But it's like teams that I think when they get in the playoffs, they might not go super far, but they'll definitely have a competitive series or two. A play-in at best. Those are teams I don't think are escaping the play-in. Then outside looking in, obviously teams that are close to the play-in, but won't make it, but aren't too bad to be in the bottom 5. Will be in the bottom 3 when it comes to the draft, most likely. Then I have get real disrespectful with the underdog shit territory, because those are the teams bottom of the barrel just suck, haven't been good this year. And we're going to get into it, and we're going to start with it now. So first, we got the Hawks. They're a play-in team at best. Honestly, I love Trae Young, my favorite player in the league, but the Hawks aren't getting anywhere. Even if they get in the first round series, they're losing in 4 or 5 games, to be completely honest. The Brooklyn Nets. This one is tough because they're competing with the 76ers. Like, they have about the same record. And I think, now I'm not sure if they're in the play-in at this moment or if they're out of it. I'm going to check that real quick because the East is so weak, so I won't even. They're on the outside still, but I put them in the outside looking in because they're not even a bad. Like, their roster-wise, they're not the most talented team, but their team has been competitive in some games. They just had a close game with the Warriors the other night where Steph went off, but I put them in the outside looking in. Like, there's a chance they could sneak into the play-in. The Celtics, let's go ahead and get this out the way. They're clearly title contenders. Jason Tatum, I feel like should be in the MVP conversation. He's an elite two-way player. He's putting up MVP caliber numbers. His playmaking improves each year, leading Boston to the second seed in the East. Yeah, they definitely got to put them in the contenders category. You still have a good coach in Joe Mazzulla. His rotations aren't the best, but he's still a good coach. Just won a championship. Got Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, and uh, Derek White were the first Celtics duo to drop 40 points apiece in Celtics history. So that team is definitely title contenders. The Hornets, they're abysmal. They're going in utter dog shit territory. The Hornets just aren't a good team. I mean, they had a fun game last night against Cleveland. I enjoyed that game. Miles Bridges went off. But aside from that, like Brandon Miller, he's injured. Now, I don't even know what your direction is. You haven't used Nurkic. You tried to get off of Mark Williams for whatever reason. So that team's just bad. And they aren't getting wins. And I think LaMelo should have been an all-star, but it is what it is. The Bulls, they're a play-in team at best. I don't see them. They'll probably stay at the 10th seed in the East. Then they'll get eliminated in their first play-in game. The Cavaliers, they're going to championship contenders. Like I said, I said this last week, but Donovan Mitchell, he's a superstar in the league. You have a good second option in Darius Garland. You have Evan Mobley, who's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year, if not be second in Defensive Player of the Year. You have Jared Allen, Sam Merrill, other guys that are not DeAndre Hunter, and other guys are not even thinking of. You got a good coach and what's his name, Kenny Atkinson. So this Cavaliers team definitely been a surprise of the season with how good they've been. That's something I wasn't expecting, but they're definitely a championship team at this point of the season. Dallas. This one is tough between play-in at best and outside looking in because they are currently in the play-in, but I'm also looking at this as projecting to end the season. So I'm going to say they outside looking in. I think they fall out of the play-in because Kyrie, he's out for the season. And prayers up to him, wishing for a speedy recovery. They'll probably shut down AD. I think that's what they're planning on doing, shutting down Anthony Davis for the rest of the season. So, yeah, I put the Mavs and outside looking in. Now we're on the Nuggets. This is a team I can see making a deep playoff run. Nikola Jokic is amazing. Obviously still in the MVP conversation. Just had a 30-20-20 game last night. Jokic is really good. Jamal Murray hasn't been as good as I thought he would be this season. We know he steps up come playoff times. But everybody is bound for a bad playoffs. I'm not saying that he'll have a bad one, but somebody on their team, like a Michael Porter Jr., who isn't consistent, or Aaron Gordon, who's been out with injuries, like the bench is still kind of weak. But you have Jokic. Westbrook, he's been good this season. I like what he's provided for them. But I can see a deep playoff run, but I don't see them winning a championship this year. The Detroit Pistons, put them and make some noise. I think it all depends on who they play in the first round. Like, I could see them getting out of the first round. If they were to play the Knicks, I'd probably take the Knicks in that one, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Pistons won. So whoever they play is definitely going to be a competitive series, and I could see them getting to the second round with how good K's been playing. You have the additions of Tobias Harris, Malik Beasley, and Tim Hardaway Jr. So I put them in the make some noise category. The Golden State Warriors. This one is tough. I'm going to circle back to the Warriors. I'm going to put the Rockets and make some noise, though. I like the Rockets. I like Alperen Sengun, made his first All-Star team. I think Jalen Green is really nice. And I think this year, like in the playoffs, they're going to see who they need to get rid of and who they should keep. And that's the good thing about the Rockets not making a move at the deadline, because you stay pace with this team, see where you need to improve. And then you have a lot of good guys. Like when you had all those guys out with injuries, and Reed Shepard stepped in that game where OKC and had 25, and they didn't win it. But it's just you had that depth, and you have Jabari Smith, you have Reed Shepard, you have all these young talented guys. And ran into a problem where now you have too many. You got too many young guys when you think about it. So yeah, that's where I put the Rockets. The Pacers. Put the Pacers and make some noise because I think they can get to the second round. Like they play the Bucks. I still don't know if I'm confident that the Bucks will win that series. But if they end up playing the Pistons or something, that's where it's like I don't really know. So I put the Pacers and make some noise. I think I know where we're gonna put the Warriors at now. I'm gonna put the Warriors in deep playoff run. You still have Steph, who's playing at a great level right now. You brought in Jimmy Butler, who has been really good with the Warriors. And then you still have Draymond, who you know he gonna put in his full effort. He might not be putting up 30 points a night, but that's what you don't need Draymond for that. Like he might drop 20 points occasionally when it comes playoff time. But this Warriors team, and then with Steve Kerr, I think he's still a good coach. They could definitely make a deep playoff run. Don't see them winning the championship, but they can make a deep run. Now we got the two LA teams. For the Clippers, I would go with for the Clippers. I'm gonna circle back to for okay. So I've been going to order this whole time. Let's get some of these other teams out the way. The ones that's obvious, like OKC, they're obviously a championship contender. I see them as the only championship contender in the West. SGA should be the MVP at this point of the season. He's been phenomenal this year. And Chet, he just came back from injury not too long ago. But Chet, really good player. J-Dub, he's been amazing. Made an all-star team this year. I like what he's provided for OKC. Then you still have Isaiah Joe come off the bench. You have Mark Dayton as your coach. I think the OKC team is really talented. They're great on offense and on defense. So it's going to be hard for me to see anybody in the West knock them out of in the playoffs unless something like an injury or something happens. But I don't see that happening. For put the Heat there and play in at best. Like the team is solid. It's not a bad team. You got Wiggins, Hero, and Bam. But that team is just a play-in team. They're not gonna do not gonna make any type of moves. They're not gonna really do anything when it comes down to the postseason. The Pelicans, they're in the utter dog shit territory. Not even because their team is bad. Like Trey Murphy is really nice. I enjoy watching Trey Murphy play. Like he be shooting it. He just pull up from the logo casually and shoot a three. Like Trey Murphy, he's gonna be an all-star next year and be close to it. But this team has just been bad all year. They dealt with the injury bug early on. So it's just hard for me to see them getting out of that territory and making some type of push for the play in to even be a team outside looking in. For the put the Wizards, I don't think I have to say too much. Their only bright spot is Bilal Coulibaly. So that tells me everything I need to know. And Bilal is nice, but that's their only bright spot. So that's kind of unfortunate. And the Lakers, I'm putting in deep playoff run. But the ways LeBron's been playing recently, he's been at an MVP level. I'll put him I put him in that conversation along with SGA and Tatum, like I said earlier, and Jokic. I think all four of those guys should be in the race. But I definitely put the Lakers in a team that can make a deep playoff run with LeBron, with Luka, but just still have uncertainty at the center position. Because I don't think that Jackson Hayes is going to get you super far with him. You can make a deep playoff run and beat a team like Denver, beat the Memphis Grizzlies. But I just think you still have issues at the center spot. And speaking of the Grizzlies, I'm gonna put them in deep playoff run too. And this all depends on Ja Morant and can he stay healthy. I think that's what that all depends on. Because Jaren Jackson, he's looked like the best player this year because number one, the best ability is availability. So, and Jaren has been available. He's been at a DPOY level as well. It's gonna be a tight race between him, Mobley, and Dyson Daniels. So it's we're gonna see, but I think they can go on a deep run. It just depends on who they match up with. Let's see. Let's go with Portland, because Portland, they don't get talked about a lot by the media. I think they're on the outside looking in, and they could make the play in. Like, I think they have a legit shot at making the play in. Actually, I would put, because the teams on the outside looking in, those teams I think have no shot at making the play in. I think Portland has a legit shot to make it. Anthony Simon's been good. DeAndre Ayton is playing more inspired basketball this year. Uh, Tamani Kamara, he's been really good. I put Portland in play in at best. I think they had a trajectory to at least get to the play in and make a little bit of noise there, but not make noise in like a playoff series. That's so yeah, I definitely see that. 76ers outside looking in. They're not the worst of the worst. They're not with the Wizards. They're still competing with the Nets, which is bad and for their expectations. So they'll be on the outside looking in. I don't see them getting, and then Embiid's out for the rest of the season. I don't want to talk about the 76ers. That's as much time as they're getting from me. What? What is this? Okay. All right, we still straight. The Magic, they're a play-in team at best because Jalen Suggs is out for the rest of the year and postseason. So we're not having one of your best defenders on your team. That's definitely gonna hurt the Magic. They'll be a solid play-in team, and I think all those teams set it. I think all those East teams are in the play-in right now, which so I don't see them getting up any further than that. The Raptors, uh, I don't know if they're the put them on the outside looking in. Because I don't think they're gonna make the play in, but I think they've been solid. They're gonna be on the outside looking in, but I don't think they've been part of the worst of the worst. Like their games are actually competitive, and it's kind of obvious that they're tanking, but they're still not doing great at it because you still have solid players like R.J. Beard, like a Scotty Barnes. So I don't know. And then you're gonna have Brandon Ingram next season. So I don't know how that's gonna play out. It don't got nothing to do with this, but yeah, I can see the Raptors on the outside looking in. Oh, the Jazz. They're the last team. They're the last team in the other dog shit territory. They're just not good. Walker Kessler had a really good game last night against the Raptors. I watched that game. Walker Kessler, I predicted him to win DP a while last season. That didn't happen, but it could happen in the future. So shout out to Walker Kessler. But yeah, it's not really many bright spots. I mean, no, that's not true because Isaiah Collier, he's good too. I think Utah could be decent in the future, but right now they're pretty bad. The Spurs, without Wemby for the rest of the season and no Popovich, you just got to put on outside looking in. I don't see a world where they make the play in. I'd be really shocked at that. The Suns that won some games recently, then with the Spurs, they'll probably fall. The Suns will have a shot at the play in, but I think Portland is more likely to make it than them, just based off of how things have been. But the Suns, they can make the play in. That's their best case scenario. The Kings also put them at play in at best. I don't see the Kings getting any further than the play in. Because like I don't even know what their direction is. Then Sabonis' future is uncertain with the Kings. So I don't even really know what their goal is. And then trading Fox, then acquiring Zach LaVine. You don't have a point guard. I just can't watch the Kings. I don't know. And it's not like the players are bad. It's just the structure of the team doesn't make sense in my opinion. Because why is Malik Monk the point guard? He's a good player. I like Malik Monk, but he's not a point guard. He's a shooting guard for a reason. And I think he's better suited coming off the bench than starting. And to make some noise territory, the Timberwolves is an interesting one. Because I think the Timberwolves can make some noise. It just like if they face OKC in the first round, I don't think it'd be a sweep. I don't think OKC. I think OKC would struggle with the Timberwolves. I think that'd be a close series. Like I'd still take OKC in probably 6, but if it won 7 games, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, game 7 in OKC, that crowd would be lit. I don't think Minnesota stands a chance. But I see the Timberwolves as a team that can make some noise just depending on where they ended up seated at the end of the year. The Knicks, I'm stuck between deep run and make some noise because I don't like the Knicks because they haven't beat a top contender team. They're on 7 against the top 3 teams, and they haven't beat the Lakers. They did sweep the Grizzlies, though. They do have wins against I think they have a win or two against the Bucks. So it's like I don't know, because I don't know if I want to put the Knicks and Bucks in the same territory. And then Jalen Brunson just went out. I don't know. I'm gonna put the Knicks and make some noise. But if they were to make a deep playoff run, I would be a little surprised, but it wouldn't be the craziest thing. The Bucks, I truly don't know because I don't think they stand a chance against Boston or Cleveland. And I'm gonna put the Bucks in. I don't have an East team in deep playoff run, so I'm trying to think between the. I'm gonna put the Bucks in deep playoff run. Even though the Knicks are the higher seed, I trust Dame and Giannis more than Cat and Brunson, based off of number one, it's Giannis, and then another thing is they're both. Well, Dame is getting older. Giannis is still in his prime. I think they're more motivated than the Knicks are, and I don't like what's neither coach I'm really a fan of, Doc Rivers or Tom Thibodeau. Because Tom Thibodeau, the minutes he gives his players are insane to me. And then with the Bucks, Doc Rivers, I seen him draw up a logo 3 for Brook Lopez to tie a game against the Rockets, and they lost it. But the Knicks and Bucks are really two teams I'm debating about. Like, I don't know which one of them is better. Like, I really don't. Because one of them is more likely to make a deep playoff run than the other. And I think I'll go to Bucks because they have Giannis. Because he's missed the last 2 playoffs. Well, he hasn't played in both the full series of the last 2 playoffs because of injuries. But I think him fully healthy, him ready to go, they're more likely to make a deep run. And they could upset a Boston or a Cleveland. I think that's possible. The Clippers can really fit into 3 categories. The Clippers are going to deep playoff run because you have James Harden, who's playing at a phenomenal level. Like, he's been amazing this season. You have Kawhi coming back from his injury, who's been solid this year. You got Norman Powell, who's out right now, but fully healthy. This team is a top 4, top 5 defense in the league. The offense has been solid, and it's like you have good role players. You brought in a Ben Simmons to come off the bench. That's why I think they can make a deep playoff run. But then when you look at the West and compare it to the other teams, it's like I wouldn't take them against the Lakers. I don't know if I take them. Would I take them against Memphis? I don't know. The Warriors, Nuggets, I'm not really sure. OKC, no. But the other teams, it's like I know that they can make those series competitive. But then it's like, should I just put them and make some noise? Because this, and even though they'll probably fall to the play-in with Norman Powell being out, I don't think that's their best case scenario. I think their best case scenario is make some noise. That's where I'm going to put the Clippers at. Put them and make some noise. Because you still have a future Hall of Famers in Kawhi and James Harden leading this team. And Tyronn Lue is a good coach, might I add. So that's definitely a possibility of them making a deep playoff run. Or make some noise in the playoffs, not necessarily deep run. But title contenders, the Celtics, Cavaliers, OKC, deep playoff run, Nuggets, Warriors, Lakers, Grizzlies, Bucks. Make some noise. Pistons, Rockets, Pacers, T-Wolves, Knicks, and Clippers. Play in at best. Hawks, Bulls, Heat, Trailblazers, Magic, Suns, and Kings. Outside looking in, the Nets, Mavericks were just a 5 seed not too long ago. 76ers, Raptors, and Spurs. Then other dog shit territory, Hornets, Pelicans, Wizards, and Jazz. So that wraps up the tier list for the NBA teams, all 30 of them. First time doing a tier list on the live. Let me know if y'all want me to do a tier list again. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Do y'all agree? Do y'all disagree? If you're seeing this playback of the live, let me know in the comment section. We're going to move into some other stuff now. Let me stop sharing. That was the NBA tier list. Now, these notifications, what is this? Let's talk about some other stuff. Talk a little bit of hockey. When you look at the playoff picture right now, you have the Florida Panthers. Well, this for the East, I'm looking at. You got the Florida Panthers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Washington Capitals, you got Carolina, and then you got the New Jersey Devils. Those are the 6 teams that are already in. You're on the outside looking in. You got Calgary, and you got the Ontario teams. So you got them. Those are the 8 that would be in right now. The Florida Panthers still riding the high from last season, winning the Stanley Cup, and they've still been great this year. So it's like, I still think that the Florida Panthers are, I still think they're a title contender, even despite they don't have the best record in the league. I still do trust them because they had that experience and they just got there. The Maple Leafs, obviously a historic franchise. I think they could go on a deep run. Then you got Tampa Bay, but the East teams aren't as good as the other teams, as the Western Conference teams. Because in the West, you got Winnipeg, Dallas, Colorado. Those are the top 3 teams. Then following them, you got the Vegas Knights, Edmonton Oilers, LA Kings, Minnesota, and Vancouver. And Vancouver isn't as great compared to the other teams. Like Vancouver, they're definitely a team likely to lose in the first round. Same with Ontario and Calgary. But even Minnesota, like them being a wild card team, I think they can go on a decent run. I wouldn't pick them to win the Stanley Cup, but they could go on a decent run. Then San Jose, they had a worse record in the league at 17-38-9. So it's just a little hockey talk. I'm gonna do a deeper dive into the playoff picture next week and really dive into it because I only watched a few hockey games this week. But that's just to taste of what to experience on this channel, some more hockey content in the future. But now it's time to get into the WNBA mock draft edition 4. And this time we're doing the first and second round. Then next month we're going to be doing rounds 1, 2, and 3. So for the WNBA mock draft, then I don't got too much more. Well, that's not. The Dallas Wings, I had them taking Paige Buckers the entire time. I think it's been that way since last season because we obviously knew Caitlin Clark was going first last year. It's been obvious that Paige was going first for a minute. And number 2, I had a Seattle Storm. Now that they're here, and I think I said this on the last one, I had them taking Anissa Morrow from LSU, a forward, averaging a double-double. So you can add that rebounding and add that strength, add that depth to your team. So if I'm the Mystics, I'm going with Olivia Miles, guard from Notre Dame, all-around player, great playmaker, great rebounder. She can score at a high level. At forward, the Mystics, once again, I would go to Nia Watson, guard from FSU. Now I heard that it was either her or somebody else that apparently aren't declaring for the draft this year. If it was her, then this definitely changed for the next mock draft because I didn't see it until I had already did the mock and stuff. So to Nia Watson, I would, if she's in the draft and on the Mystics, I'm going with her. For the Golden State Valkyries, they're an expansion team. Really anything can help. I'm going to go with Georgia Moore from Kentucky, guard, pretty good all-around game, can shoot the ball. Some people got to go in the second round, but I think she's a first-round talent. I think she's worth the first-round pick. And the Mystics, once again, they have 3 picks in the top 6, so they should get a loaded draft class. Now, all these girls won't play the same amount of minutes, but hopefully they develop into something special and they all have a role and contribute in some way. But I had them take Fly-J Johnson from LSU, guard. She's trying to make a career in basketball and music. I believe she can do it. She's very talented at both. For the Liberty, I would take Kiki Efron from USC. Partner with Juju Watkins, with teammate Juju Watkins, who would be, she's definitely going to be on the draft board next year. Juju Watkins is a sophomore. For anybody that's wondering, she cannot be picked in this year's WNBA draft. She will have to wait until next year to declare. Yeah, if I'm in the Liberty, I'm going with Kiki. She's a great second option. What's good, Black Couch? But that's who I go with for the Liberty. For the Connecticut Sun, I will go with Eddie Higginbottom. Yeah, Juju is gonna be a beast. She, but yeah, she can get drafted till next year. So for the Connecticut Sun, I'll go with Eddie Higginbottom. They got the 8th pick. She from Arkansas. I think she's gonna be a good player when she get into the league. For the LA Sparks, I'll go with Sedona Prince from TCU, a center averaging a double-double. I think she'd be a great pickup for them, add some depth to that bench. For the Chicago Sky, I'll go with Shane Sellers, guard from Maryland. Maryland's been having a pretty underrated season. I think they'll make a deep run in the NCAA tournament this year. For the Minnesota Lynx, I will go with Dominique Malonga from France. She averaging like 16 or 7 project pick from France. I think it's worth it for them to do that. Then for the Dallas Wings to round out the first round, they should go with Lauren Betts from UCLA, a pretty good center. Definitely helped them out. If they can get Paige and Lauren Betts in this draft, that'd be a pretty solid draft. Then moving to the second round, the Las Vegas Aces, they were investigated last season, so they lost their first round pick. But they do have a pick in the second round. They should go with Astis Saveka. I might have said that wrong, but she's from Slovenia, another project pick, but I think it'll make sense for them and the position that they're in right now. For the Dallas Wings, to go with Taylor Jones from Texas. Just add more depth to your team, because obviously the Wings weren't great last season, and this draft class is definitely going to help them improve. For the Lynx, I will go with Janai Barker from UCLA. UCLA, they got a few talented players that's going to go in this draft, so I think that'll be a good pickup for the Minnesota Lynx. For the Chicago Sky, go with Kiki Rice. Get a guard from UCLA, add to your bench production. For the Valkyries, they should go with Sonia Citron from Notre Dame. She's been having a pretty good season. And then they're going to need, they're an expansion team, so really anything can help this team right now. At 18, the Atlanta Dream, Tanai Rivers from North Carolina State. She's been having a pretty good season. Have not watched much of NC State this year, but she has been a beast this year. 19, the Indiana Fever, they should go with Addison O'Grady from Iowa. Put her back up with Caitlin Clark. They got the chemistry from college already, and it makes sense. She's averaging about 12 points per game, 6 rebounds. I think that'd be a good pickup for them. She probably won't get much playing time this year, but I think that'll definitely help them out a little bit. And then the Fever got another pick, Teen. I had them take Teen Hannah Papo from South Carolina. I think that'd be a good project pick to take in the second round. For the Storm, Roy Harmon from Texas, a guard from Texas. I think that'd be the perfect pick for them to get in the second round. For the Sky, I had them pick Sarah Ruckett, forward from Tennessee. I think she'll be really solid for them. For the Mystics, Erices Markoska from Nebraska, center from Nebraska. She's pretty good rebounder. She can get buckets inside the paint, so I definitely go with her. For the Lynx, for the 24th pick, I'll go with Emily Ryan, a guard from Iowa State. And then to round out the second round, I'll go with Michaela Thompson from FSU, a guard from FSU for the Connecticut Sun. And I think that'll make for a really good, that's my mock draft. The fourth one I did. Then I'll do another one next month with all three rounds. Yeah, now to get into some NFL stuff. The Bengals franchise tag T. Higgins again. And I'm surprised by that, because at that point, you might as well just let him leave. They're doing everything but getting Joe Burrow some help. Trey Hendrickson, they're allowing him to request a trade. So you have all the weapons on. You had the weapons on offense, but you decided the Bengals paid Joe Burrow before they paid Jamar Chase. I'm not saying that Joe Burrow shouldn't have been paid, but you should have paid them around the same time. Because now the cap situation is so weird because you franchise tag T. Higgins because you don't want to pay him, but they might trade him anyways. So now it's just Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. They obviously lost Joe Mixon last season as he went to the Texans. So this team, despite them going to the Super Bowl in 2021 and the conference championship in 2023, the team keeps getting worse because the Burrow contract, it the Burrow contract at the time that he got it hurt the Bengals, and it's just and now you're allowing Trey Hendrickson, the only good part of your defense, to request a trade, to seek a trade to go somewhere else. So this Bengals team, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase gonna be putting up video game numbers again to go 8-9 for a second season in a row and miss the playoffs. That's crazy to me. Because Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase deserve more than that, but I guess the Bengals don't want to win. Then the Cowboys are allowing to the Cowboys situation with Devontae Turpin really throws me off because they're not saying that they're going to trade him, but essentially if he wants, somebody else can sign him if they want to, and Dallas will lose him for nothing. He's the best return man in the league, and you want to lose Devontae Turpin, and there's not a lot of positives with this Dallas team right now. So you getting rid of anybody, I don't think he's the guy you should be willing to get rid of so fast, and really for no reason. Because apparently, despite this move, Jerry Jones said that he still doesn't, he's not going to use free agency to get top players. If Jerry goes to do that through the draft, if the Cowboys don't get Ashton Genty, if the Cowboys don't get Ashton Genty, I don't know what their offseason is. Because you could potentially lose Devontae Turpin, who's your best return man. And then you probably had the highest odds to get the best running back in the draft. Now, I hope somebody else gets him before the Cowboys do, but that's neither here nor there. Deebo Samuel went to the Commanders, and that does nothing for that team. If Terry McLaurin barely got targeted in the conference championship, how does Deebo Samuel help this team? I mean, it adds another weapon, and Deebo Samuel is solid, but he's progressed since 2020, since 2021, around that time. Like Deebo Samuel continues to regress, and get older. So I don't think Deebo Samuel adds anything to this Commanders team. Now Bobby Wagner, he got extended, which that was a good extension, but Deebo Samuel, I don't think that really helps anything. All right, I'm back now. But yeah, Deebo Samuel, I don't think it really does anything for the Commanders. I don't think this move really helps them out at all. I mean, the 49ers finally got off of Deebo, which makes sense, but I don't think this really helps them. The Jaguars made some interesting moves. They released Evan Ingram, then they traded Christian Kirk to the Texans. I don't know why you would trade one of your better receivers to a rival team in the same division. Like, it was just another team in the same conference, and okay, I can see it. But you traded Christian Kirk to the Texans, who already have a deep receiver room, and then Tank Dell is probably going to be out all the next season. So this is a really good move for the Texans. But I don't know why the Jaguars would do that. Then they released Evan Ingram, who was their tight end one. So that's really confusing. I don't know what the Jaguars were thinking there. The Eagles extended Zach Bond. That was a good move. And DK Metcalf requested a trade after Tyler Lockett was released. And then Geno Smith got traded to the Raiders. So the Seahawks are having a hard reset. Because obviously that team wasn't going anywhere. So Tyler Lockett, he gets released. And I don't know where. I could see him going to a team like the Patriots or or the Panthers, a team that need a wide receiver one. I could see Tyler Lockett trying to become a one somewhere. And then they trade. Then DK Metcalf, he requested trade not too long after that. But he might have already requested that and didn't come out till after. but I don't know where DK Metcalf is gonna go. So now it's just Jackson Smith and Najigba there, because Geno Smith was traded to the Raiders for a fifth or sixth round pick, and then apparently the Seahawks made that move because they wanted to get Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold is likely gonna re-sign with the Vikings, which is the best thing that he can do. Because Sam Darnold on any other team, if Sam Darnold goes to a team with less talent than the Vikings, he'd be exposed and look like what he did with the Jets and with the Panthers. He won't look like the same guy in a different situation. So it's best for him to stay with the Vikings. And that's the report that I heard, that he's likely staying with the Vikings. So if the Seahawks' master plan was to get Sam Darnold, it didn't work out. And the Raiders are still the Raiders were terrible this season. So they'll be a little better, because at least Brock Bowers has a real quarterback throwing him the football. But I don't see the Seahawks thinking. Now you have to draft a quarterback, because if you don't, it wouldn't make sense. And then the Raiders will probably get a quarterback too, do the same thing that the Falcons did. You get a veteran quarterback, then draft a rookie one to sit behind them and see where teams go. But that's pretty much, those are the biggest free agent things. The Chargers released Joey Bosa too. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes. But those are the main topics of the NFL free agency so far. There's definitely going to be some more stuff coming out over the week. See where DK ended up going. See where Tyler Lockett ended up going. Like the Seahawks wide receiver room died in one day. That's great. It's just going to be Jackson Smith and the Jigba and a bunch of randoms. I mean, I guess they got Noah Fant as their tight end. But that Seahawks team is going to be bad. But they were in for a hard reset. They kind of needed it, so it makes sense. But their master plan against Sam Darnold didn't work out. I hope that report was fake, because that would have been a waste of time. And then we can get into Revolution predictions. AEW Revolution is going to be tomorrow. Kyle Fletcher, I think he's winning that match against Will Ospreay. They're 1-1 against each other right now. I think Kyle Fletcher wins that match against Ospreay in a steel cage. And if he doesn't, I'd be surprised if they let Will Ospreay win. I think it'll be pointless for Will Ospreay to get the win. I think it'll do more for Kyle Fletcher if you let him win that match against Ospreay. You got Adam Copeland versus John Moxley for the World Championship. All the Death Riders except for Wheeler Yuta have been taken out. I think Wheeler Yuta is going to cost John Moxley this match. And I think that's going to lead to Bryan Danielson returning at the next pay-per-view. Because I think the way that Wheeler Yuta didn't feel the same way as the other Death Riders did about Bryan Danielson, because he still has some type of love for him. So I think this just leads to Wheeler Yuta costing Moxley the title. And then when the other Death Riders come back, that's when Bryan Danielson makes his return to save Wheeler Yuta from getting beat down at the next pay-per-view or whatever. And I think Adam Copeland wins this match. Then Christian Cage finally catches in to become the world champion. Then you run their rematch and have Christian retain, obviously, because Adam Copeland, he'll get it for one night, then Christian cash in, and they can retell. And they can do that same story they did with the TNT title, but it'll actually mean something with the world title involved this time. Then you got Swerve and Ricochet competing to see who's going to be the number one contender for the world championship. I think Swerve wins this match. Ricochet pinned Swerve twice. So this one is kind of hard to predict, because I feel like Tony Khan sees something in Ricochet that WWE didn't. But I do think Swerve wins this match, because I think if Ricochet is to get a world title match, I feel like he's going to win. And not that he's going to keep it for super long, but I could definitely see that with the type of heat he's generating right now. But I think Swerve is winning that match tomorrow. MJF versus Hangman. This is another one that's kind of hard to predict, but I'm going to go with MJF for this one. It's nothing on the line. They're just fighting for pride, I guess. But I think, I don't know if it's a normal match or if it's a street fight or anything like that. MJF will probably win if it's a normal match. If it's some type of stipulation involved, then Hangman will probably win. But assuming it's just a normal one-on-one match, I'm going to go with MJF. He'll win over some cheap heel tactics. Kenny Omega versus Takeshita for the international championship. I think Kenny Omega is winning this. His first championship match since being back. I think he'll win this one, but I don't think that's going to end his story with Don Callis. I don't think it's over after this. The Hurt Syndicate and the Outrunners competing for the tag team titles. I don't like the. I really don't like the Outrunners. I don't, but I think the Hurt Syndicate has retained the tag titles, and obviously they're going to do something with the Murder Machines. I would like to see the Murder Machines with tag titles, but I don't think the Hurt Syndicate's title run to end that soon, because I think they're gonna build up a solid story with it. But I don't think the Hurt Syndicate not losing to the Outrunners, but they'll probably get attacked by the Murder Machines after the match. Okada's gonna beat Brody King for the Continental Championship. I would like to see Brody King get a push, but it's not happening. They haven't even really built up a story. It's just them doing backstage segments, which that's fine for some championship matches. But this isn't really a pay-per-view worthy match, because you just have a backstage segment or two. You should just have a match on the Dynamite before the pay-per-view, or the Collision before the pay-per-view, because it's not really pay-per-view worthy. Like, you have 9 matches. It should just be 7. I don't think you need 9 matches on the pay-per-view. Feel like you're overdoing it, especially for something that's not like an all-in or something. Like, this all-in, I get why you want to have 10 matches, but I don't think you need 9 matches for Revolution. Mercedes Moné defending the TBS title against Momo Watanabe. I forgot that Momo won that International Women's Cup to get a chance at Mercedes at whatever title she wanted. But Mercedes is going to retain the title. She's not losing the TBS title to somebody from New Japan. It just wouldn't make sense. Like, it would make sense if Camille came back and took the title, or if she doesn't, you have a Megan Bain beat her for the title. Those are the only 2 options that make sense to win the TBS title off of her. If it was for one of the other titles that Mercedes had, I would be confident that Momo winning this match, because it would have made sense that they want to get one of those other titles off of her. But since it's for the TBS title, Mercedes Moné is guaranteed to win this match. Then Toni Storm versus Mariah May for the women's world championship. Toni Storm is going to retain, but it's going to be a fun match. I think it's going to be like a street fight type of thing. They're calling it the Hollywood ending, so it has to be some type of stipulation. It can't just be a regular one-on-one match. But Toni Storm is going to retain. Mariah May is going to be a multiple-time champion. She won't win it back here, but I expect it to be a fun match between them two for the 3rd time through the trilogy. And that's how you end it off with Toni Storm getting the win. And I was going to say, I don't know if Mercedes is not. They'll probably do Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm around the time of All In, because I could definitely see that happening. And that's it for the Revolution predictions. But moving on to some WWE stuff. Jay and Gunther's story, I'm fine with it. A lot of people are saying it's been a bad build. I don't think it's been terrible. Like, there's definitely some routes they can explore with that, with Jay and Gunther. And I think with the Alpha Academy and A-Town Down Under being involved, I think you could do a 6-man tag team with all 3 of them at some point. And what's really going to help that story is when Jay takes on Grayson Waller. If you have Gunther, like, obviously Jay going to win that match. If you have Gunther come down there and beat him up or whatever, and have Waller in theory jump him, then Alpha Academy come out there, and you set up a 6-man tag team match for next week, then you have Jay and Gunther interacting in a match that's not for the title, and just them getting more, getting to know each other better in the ring, with them having a few interactions in the tag team match. I think with you getting other people involved in this and having Gunther wrestle consistently, I think they're doing a good job building up the story. I'm completely fine with Jay and Gunther. And it'll probably open up WrestleMania Night 1. That should be the opening match. And depending on how they build that women's story with Bianca, Io, and Rhea, assuming she's involved, that should be the main event. Because if Roman doesn't show up in that steel cage match, I don't know what he's doing at WrestleMania. But yeah, Bianca, Io, and Rhea, I don't know how I feel about it, because you could have did the one-on-one with Bianca and Rhea, or you could just do the one-on-one with Bianca and Io. You could write, But I think the triple threat works out best for everybody. But if they do the triple threat, Io shouldn't be the one that takes the pin. It should be Bianca or Rhea that takes the pin because they give Io a reason to get a rematch, and she doesn't have to win the title back. But if you put the title on Io's side just to make her take the pin, that's kind of stupid. Have Rhea or Bianca take the pin, assuming it's a triple threat match. That's how I feel about it. And then CM Punk cut a very passionate promo on Raw, and his promo was more aggressive than what Cody Rhodes was. Like Cody Rhodes was not aggressive in his promo at all. I wasn't rocking with Cody's promo from last night's SmackDown, but what Punk did on Raw, that was great when him calling out Cena, The Rock, Seth. Then you got them brawling, and that. What's good, Alex? Now that was funny. I'm gonna get to that in a second with Randy and them. But what are all these notifications? But yeah, Cody Rhodes, I don't feel like he was aggressive enough in his promo last night. Like I wasn't convinced. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but yeah, for sure. Yeah, CM Punk, like I said, I enjoy his promo and the stuff he's doing with Seth. And the steel cage match is gonna be fun. But if Roman Reigns does not show up, he does not need to be at WrestleMania. And I love Roman Reigns, but if he's not showing up to build this story and it's supposed triple threat match, how are they going to be? And if they do have a triple threat match, it shouldn't main event over Bianca, Io, and Rhea story, which has already been built in one night, rather than what CM Punk, Seth, and Roman did the past month, because Roman isn't showing up. If only Seth and Punk show up, how is it worth being a triple threat match? Roman isn't putting in the work. But yeah, Randy Orton said he don't play Fortnite. He played Elden Ring. That was pretty funny. But I think Carmelo Hayes should be Randy Orton next week. Like, you're going to build up Carmelo Hayes to actually win a title or something, then I think Carmelo Hayes should be Randy. But I don't know did Carmelo beat Randy that one time they faced each other, or was it twice they faced each other? Because I remember Randy won once, if I'm not mistaken. Did Carmelo ever get his win back, or did he just lose to Randy? Because I'm not sure. Alex, she said, I don't understand how Cena's not going to be at the MSG Raw show on Monday. That don't make sense. See, that's the problem. Like, you building up Cody and Cena as the main event, but only one person's building up the story. Like, Cody Rhodes, like I said, I didn't like his promo, but he's actually putting in the effort and work to show up to work. And after taking a beating, and Travis Scott not doing the thing right, doing his spot right, and he has him showing up, but Cena isn't building the story. I don't see how you can justify a main event where only one person is building up the story. Like, that heel turn is not enough. He needs to be on Raw or SmackDown and let's say let's not even say he has to be on Raw, okay? Let's say he comes on SmackDown next week during Miz TV. That's fine. But if he doesn't show up on Miz TV, don't even promote it. Like every date, we don't need to know it for Cena. Have him. But if he was to show up surprisingly, because he's not projected to show up on SmackDown next week, let's say he does show up. Okay, I'm fine with that if he interrupts the segment. But if he doesn't, how can you build this up to be a main event if only Cody is putting in the work? Like, the heel turn is great, but you got to do more than just turn. You got to do more than just turn a heel. You can't just not show up. But yeah, I don't get. If he is not slated for anything next week, that's crazy to me. But speaking of Madison Square Garden, NXT, they're gonna be there next week. It was some NXT stuff that I wanted to talk about that was pretty cool. Kalani Jordan and Jada Parker's match was pretty dope. I was surprised that Kalani Jordan lost because she's been losing a lot lately. Ever since she's lost the North American title, she's only won once in like her last 7-8 matches. I like to say, she has not won since she lost that title. Now they're probably building it into the story of her becoming a heel, which I don't mind. But I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. But it was a good match, so I didn't mind it. And then Shawn Spears, he ended up beating Tony D for the North American title. This was a really good match. I enjoyed it. Shawn Spears, I liked the way that he won. I think I made a short about it, but like, they protected Tony D'Angelo the way that he lost. He's the only guy to beat over Femi. So when you have him lose because his back gives out, because of how much you put how much work you've been putting in, and then I think that made a lot of sense to have his back give out and have him lose like that to Sean Spears, and then with Stacks, with him getting involved and being in the wrong spot at the wrong time, it plays into that story of the family of Sean versus Sean Spears family. So I like the fact that Sean Spears won that match and the way that he won it. I almost think you got to give Stephanie Valkyrie those 2 belts. I agree with that, Alex. I like I like Stephanie Valkyrie. I mean, Julia, she's dope too, but I could definitely see that having Stephanie win that match. But I hope they don't pull something where it's like an end and a no disqualification or it's a double count out or something like. I hope they don't do that. But I feel like they should have waited until one of them didn't have a belt. I feel like it should have just been for the NXT Women's Championship, and you had Julia being the champion going in and Stephanie beat her for the title, and then you called up Julia. Because I think putting Stephanie Valkyrie in this and having her be the champion, North American champion, that was an interesting call. But Piper Niven, she lost twice this week. Because her and Chelsea lost a tag team match to Soul Ruki and Zarya, which there was an interesting moment. But I liked it because they're going to tell the story of Piper. It's always making Chelsea lose, this and that. And then Piper, she lost her match to Tiffany Stratton, which wasn't a good match, but at least she wrestled. At least Tiffany wrestled as the champion. She wrestled on a SmackDown. So that was cool. And then, at Chelsea Green winning, I don't like the way that the match ended. Because if you're going to have Alba Fire do something, do it after the match, in my opinion. Because it's like that ending was kind of ridiculous. Because you don't want Michin to win the match. Just tell us that. Don't put her in the match. Because this is probably the 10th time they've wrestled. And she's lost in a stupid, ridiculous way each and every time. Like, how do you keep finding more creative ways to make her lose and look embarrassed? This is not the creativity that we want. Just stop doing the match. It's repetitive and it's pointless. It's the same thing with Drew McIntyre and Jimmy Uso at this point. Because that leads me right into NXT. Right into SmackDown. Of speaking more on Drew McIntyre. And, Drew McIntyre feud with everybody in the bloodline except Solo, the one who actually cost him. Or Roman, who he actually lost to. Then he beats Jimmy anyways, but you had him and Priest get into it. Obviously, they started off the show, then that was close to the end of it. But I don't think a lot of people have been hating on Damian Priest. I really don't know why. I think he could have had Drew do something big at WrestleMania, but Damian Priest isn't bad. I think it'd be a fun match, and then not every star can win a title. Like if Drew goes this entire year without a title, I don't think it's as bad as people want to make it seem. Like he could very well be in the world championship picture next year. Like you have Cena, and he's on SmackDown now, so you have Cena who's probably gonna beat Cody at WrestleMania. Then if he doesn't, I'd be shocked. And then let's say you do have Cody remain champion, Cena's probably beating him at SummerSlam anyways. As much as I wanted to beat Drew, because I do like Drew McIntyre, it's like at best he'd be a mid-card champion this year. And he could very well be a world. You could do Drew and LA Knight at Wrestle. They probably won't because they made it clear it's going to be Drew and Priest. Or you could do it after WrestleMania at Backlash. Drew and LA Knight. That'd be a fun match. Or you could do Drew and Carmelo Hayes. It might be heel versus heel, but it'd be a solid match. So it's like Drew probably won't be a world champion this year, but he's definitely going to get a world championship next year. They didn't sign him to a 5-year extension for nothing. It's going to pay off. I just think we got to be patient with the story of him getting a championship once again. LA Knight, U.S. champion once again, well deserved. Shouldn't have lost it in the first place. And if he does lose it, hopefully it's to Carmelo Hayes, because I think that would make the most sense. Or if it is Jimmy Uso, I don't mind that. Jimmy and Jay winning singles gold. Now, Jimmy and Jay both have singles matches for the titles, and they both lose at WrestleMania. That's fucked up. That shouldn't happen. But if Jimmy does have a match for the U.S. title, he should win, and Jay should win as well, so they could both be singles champions at the WrestleMania. And they don't gotta hold the belts long. Have Jay lose at SummerSlam to Braun Breaker. Have Jimmy lose at Backlash to Drew McIntyre. Boom. That's how Drew McIntyre get a championship this year. And it's not like it's a demotion. It's just they need something for Drew to do. So put him in the mid-card scene for now. Like, everybody can't be a main eventer. And then I wanted to talk about this last, but the Bianca, Naomi, and Jade segment, that was amazing. That was the best part of SmackDown. And you had Bianca come out there, and then she was like, she would be excited about headline WrestleMania, but I can't stop thinking about Naomi and Jade and what just happened, because she's both of these women are my friends, and then they just got into this brawl to start Elimination Chamber. That's how the night started. Then Naomi, she come out there, and Naomi did make a few solid points. She was like, saying that Jade was sleeping off Bianca, this and that. But the most interesting thing that Naomi said when she mentioned the fans and how they turned on her, she was absolutely right about that. Because the fan, like, people have been questioning if it was her the whole time, but I think it goes deeper than that. I think she was really talking about how when she was in TNA and she was the Knockouts champion, everybody loved her and talked about her. But since she came back, it's always these negative comments and stuff about how she botches all the time, how she's overrated, this and that. I guess a lot of negativity since she's came back to WWE. When she was in TNA doing her thing, not as many eyes on her. People were glazing and talking about how great she is. She should have left. It was a good thing that she left WWE. But now that she's back, it's all she's botching all the time. Oh, she's not that good. It's all those conversations. And I think that plays a part into it. I think that plays a part into her character now. It's her being a heel. That's going beyond the story with her and Jade. I think it just plays into the story a bit more of her being a heel. Because it's like, she's right about that stuff. And then when Naomi left, she didn't lose the tag team titles. So it's even more like when she brings that up in promo, how she never lost the tag titles. Like, she never got a rematch when she came back to get a tag team championship. It was like Jade, when she saw that Jade was still on the spotlight, she was getting pushed to the side. So it makes sense that Naomi, she's now a heel and she's playing this role perfectly. And Alex, she said, I thought Naomi was going to have a tough time as a heel, but she pulled the turn off. She needs to get back at Jade somehow. I agree with that. She did do a good job with the turn. She did a good job playing like it wasn't her. And she did a really good job in the promo last night. And I think she'll do great as a heel. What they got to do is they got to do some stuff again next week where they got to have Jade cut a promo and talk. That's what Jade needs to do. Jade has to cut a promo, and then Naomi has to come out there and attack her with like a chair or a kendo stick or something like that. Because like I said, it's a good heel turn, and I think it's gonna be a good match at WrestleMania. But I feel like this gonna do a lot for her character with the stuff that she said in that promo, because it is true. And then, like, she never lost it. She hasn't mentioned it yet, but she never lost the tag titles technically. Then she had to wait for Jade to be out there playing and get a chance to be tag champ again. And fans definitely have turned on her. So her being a heel makes perfect sense. Now, where this leads Bianca, I'm not really sure. I could see Bianca and Jade being at SummerSlam for the title if she's champion and it being like a respect thing, because Bianca didn't really know what was going on. Because people still speculating it was Bianca. I don't think it was. At this point, I think they've done too well. Like, even though they both in the all black, like, they have been designing their clothes together and stuff to match. So it's like, I don't know if he just stopped abruptly now. Like, they've been matching their clothes for a minute. So, and I think Bianca does both of their clothes. I know Bianca designed her own gear and stuff. I think fans are going too far into conspiracies. Like when Sami Zayn was a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, that's what a lot of fans are doing now, which it is kind of funny. But yeah, I think Naomi's going to be great for heel, but she definitely got to attack her next week. Definitely got to attack her. Like Jay cutting the promo backstage, or she in an interview with Kathy Kelly or somebody. A sparkle neck brace was funny too. Yeah, that was funny. And she doing a great job playing that character. That's as much as I got for WWE for now. I'm gonna be on Alex. Make sure you tune in to Black Couch Book and Stream later today because I'm gonna be on there too. I'm gonna be talking more wrestling. And then, but on New Japan Pro just had their 53-year anniversary. It was I think the event was like a 6 out of 10 because I watched it. El Phantasmo, he had a good match. It was an open challenge. I forgot who he faced, but the match was fun. I enjoyed it. But then they had a stretch of it was 3 different tag team matches. It was two. Well, one of them was a 4-on-4 match, and then it was just that one was pretty bad. Then you had 2 tag team matches. One was just all chaos, so I didn't really know what was going on. And I've been following New Japan, so it was just kind of weird. It was all over the place. But then you did have a fun 8-man tag team match after that followed it. Like there was some stretches where it's like, okay, this is pretty bad, but then it picked up towards the end of the event. Like in the middle of the mid-card matches, they were pretty bad for the event. But then when you got to the tag, and I forgot who was in that 8-man tag team match, it was really fun. I enjoyed it. Then you had El Desperado defending the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship against Francisco Akira, and that was a fun match. El Desperado ended up retaining. I've been checking out New Japan. I'm gonna be doing more New Japan content on the channel probably later this month, I'd say. But I might just do a tier list where I rank everybody on New Japan. But yeah, that's and then you had the main event, which was Hikaru Gatu versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. A fun match. Tanahashi is amazing. Gatu is amazing. Hikaru Gatu, he ended up winning the title he ended up winning the match for attaining the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. But it was a fun match, a very enjoyable match from start to finish. So shout out to both of them. And they did have another event today. They started something. They started the New Japan Cup, so I got to check that out and provide more stuff on that over the week. I can't remix their stuff like the TNA, AEW, and WWE. They let you remix their stuff, but you can't do it with New Japan. So I'm kind of mad about that. Hopefully I figure something out so I can get more New Japan stuff on the channel. And then to talk a little bit of, we're not going to talk too much about bowling, the PBA league, but it's just a little update on what they've been doing. Jason Belmont, he had a 251 average in the PBA Scorpion title in the A squad. The PBA World Series is going on. The PBA is a professional bowling association for people that don't know. And then Tim Ford Jr., he led the B squad, but BJ Moore he didn't lead, but he had a dominant performance in the B squad in the Scorpion title tournament. But BJ Moore had a 243 average, which led. He was tied with somebody else. And then there's 14 players from Sweden that's in the World Series, in the PBA World Series. So for more bowling content, make sure y'all checking out the shorts because I'll definitely be on that. It'll be some fun matches sometimes. Sometimes it don't be, but it is interesting to check out different sports, see what's going on. But yeah. And then some PVF, which is the Pro Volleyball Federation. Omaha and Orlando are both 10-4. Both of those teams have been hot lately. They did have, I forgot who won the match they had their game they had last week, but I hate that I forgot that one. But the India Ignite, they're 8-6. They're third right now. They're about a game and a half ahead of fourth place, but they definitely got to pick it up because they're 8-6 compared to those other teams. Like Orlando and Omaha, I don't see them falling soon, especially with how great they've been. It's only their 14, so they're halfway. The PBF is halfway through the season now, and this is the volleyball league I'm talking about. They're halfway through the season, and then you got the Atlanta Vibe and Vegas Trio, who are both 7-8, but only one of those teams can get in. That's the 4th seed, and the Vibe, they had a tiebreaker right now. And the Grand Rapids Rise, they started the season pretty strong, but they're 6-8 now. They've been struggling. The San Diego Mojo, they're 5-9. They haven't been playing great. They haven't been playing great this year. Then the Columbus Fury, who I decided to make my favorite volleyball team. They're 4-10. I have no regrets picking the worst team in the league because I can say I was there from the start. So when they do win a championship, I can say, like I said, whenever the Columbus Fury are finally good, I can say I was there from the start because I decided to be and this is the second season on the PBF. They didn't make the playoffs last year either. So when they do get to the playoffs for the first time, I'll be the guy like, yeah, I've been a fan the whole time. So good for me, I guess. Struggling right now, so it's not the best brand of volleyball, but the PBF has been fun. I've been enjoying the Pro Volleyball Federation. But we're almost at the end of the podcast, so I'm gonna wrap it up with athletes of the week for and I forgot to write one of them down. But this what I'm gonna do. I forgot to write down who I had for athletes of the week for the NHL, which I talked about earlier in the stream. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with Connor Bernard, who had the game winner last night for the Blackhawks against the hockey club. He had 1 goal, 1 point. No, he had 1 goal, 1 assist, and 2 points total. He had the game winner in overtime. The Blackhawks beat the hockey club 4-3. I just realized I ain't writing nobody down for the NHL. So at least I still have my other notebook where I had the notes from last night. So just based off of that performance alone, go with him for this week. For the NBA, I'm gonna go with LeBron. He has 7. The Lakers have won 8 games in a row. They won 3 games this week. LeBron had 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 9 assists against the Clippers on March 2nd. On March 4th, he had 34 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists, and shot 10-18 from the field against the Pelicans. That was March 4th. Then March 6th, which was 2 days ago, had 31 points, shot 11-23 from the field, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists. Played 44 minutes against the Knicks, winning overtime. He's been playing at an elite level. I feel like he should be in the MVP conversation right now. I don't think he should win it, but he should definitely be in the conversation with how great he's been this season. How phenomenal he's played. And then an honorable mention, not that I usually do this, but Colin Gillespie is an honorable mention for me because the Suns had a game the other night against, let me pull up my notebook so I'm not wrong, but the Suns had a game the other night. It was Thursday, I think, against the Clippers, where they were down 23 going into the fourth quarter. And Colin Gillespie, he came in, had 10 points off the bench, 3 assists, and he was 4-6 from the field. He just had a really impactful game. And then I looked at the box score from the Suns and Nuggets game last night, and he barely got playing time. So I don't want to go too much into it. I don't want to go too off because I want to end real soon. But I don't see how you can see a guy that provides you a spark, play some good defense, then you give him 3 minutes in a game against Denver, which is one of your most important games of the season. So and he definitely could have helped you last night if he got some more time. Because I seen that I ain't watched the game from last night, and I know that he comes off the bench, but he barely got any playing time after just having a really good game and helping lead a comeback. But anyways, for the rest of the athletes of the week, for the Live Golf League, I know I didn't talk about it in today's podcast, but Paul Casey, he's at a -7 right now after the first round of the Hong Kong tournament. Got 2 more rounds. Got today, which they'll probably be going on right now. Then if I can remix it, I can do a golf short before today ends. For the PBA, one with Jason Belmonte, 251 average, like I said, in the PBA World Series so far. For the Pro Volleyball Federation, Brittany Amakroki, 24 kills, 13 digs, and 10 points in a win against Omaha. And she had 25 kills, 23 digs, and 8 points in a win against the Vibe. So she had a really good week. For AEW, I went with Will Ospreay. He was a phenomenal 8-man tag team match with him, Mark Briscoe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Orange Cassidy taking on Brian Keith, Mark Davis, and the Murder Machines. I feel like Will Ospreay and Brian Keith really stood out. If Brian Keith and his team would have got the win, I would have went with Brian Keith. But I'm going to go with Ospreay. I feel like Ospreay was really good in that match. So shout out to him. And I've been watching Collision lately. Collision is getting better for AEW. Just want to say that. Then for New Japan, go with Hikaru Gatu. had a fun match against Hiroshi Tanahashi, which he ended up retaining the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. For TNA, when with AJ Francis, I forget the penthouse segment that he does every week is really good. Then he had a fun match with Steve Macklin. So shout out to AJ Francis. He's been killing it in TNA. And I hope he gets rewarded with a championship at some point. And whether it's a tag team championships with him and Casey Navarre, or he wins one of the mid-card titles, I like AJ Francis. He's really been stepping up. And then for the last, is that it? Oh yeah, for WWE, I'm going with Shawn Spears. I don't usually go with NXT guys, so I usually look at the main. Well, I be watching NXT, but I usually pick somebody from the main roster. But this week I'm going with Shawn Spears. His match with Tony D'Angelo was really fun, and the way that he won, I loved it. So shout out to Shawn Spears and everybody that I just named for Ask These Other Week. This episode 36 of Weekly Sports Talk with Ed. Appreciate everybody that pulled up to the stream for the time that y'all was here. It was a fun one. That's going to wrap it up. Leave a like on the video. If you've seen this after the stream, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts. If you didn't see it from the beginning, go back and watch and see the NBA tier list I did. Like I said, if you want dope sports coverage, I'm here at Influential Sports, the only sports analyst y'all need to be listening to, need to be watching. My Instagram and Twitter is Switchblade Ed. I changed my settings for the messages if y'all want to DM me questions or ask me about leave me video ideas and stuff. But that's it for this live. Peace out, y'all. I'll see y'all later.